Welcome to a new session, and in this session we are going to explore how to set up a PostgreSQL instance on the AWS platform. All right, so we know how to reach the Amazon RDS dashboard from the previous session, and now we are already into the RDS dashboard. To start creating the PostgreSQL, click on Create Database. All right, and we go with the standard create, and as for the engine type, we will select the PostgreSQL. All right, good. So as for this, we have the latest version, 14.2-R1. All right. So, but we will go with the 12.10 R1 because for me, I've been using this for quite some time and it seems to be more stable. And also, if you check out the 14.2, all right, you don't get the free tier option here. But with 12.10, we should be getting the free tier option. All right, so we want to test with the free tier option. So I'm going with the PostgreSQL. If you're going only for the testing option, go for the 12.10 R1. And if you're going for the production one, then probably go with the latest version of PostgreSQL. But ensure that your PostgreSQL has no compatibility issues with the application that you're going to be using. And I'll switch to free tier here, and once I switch to free tier, the multi-AZ DB instance and single DB instance options are gone. As for the production, I get the multi-AZ DB instance and single DB instance, but I don't get the multi-AZ DB cluster. All right, I'll just click with the free tier here. All right, and as for the database identifier, I leave it as database 1. See here, the master username has changed to Postgres. All right, so let's update here. Okay, and the master password, I will send it as 1234 test 1234 test 1234, and I have updated that. It's already here. As for the DB instance class, I'll go with the T2 micro, which is showing correctly for me, and that's the free tier version. And I'll go with the general purpose SSD with the allocated storage of 20 GB. I'll disable the storage auto scaling. We have seen in depth about the storage auto scaling with the MySQL, and the concept is same here. And yes, we want it to be publicly accessible, so I'll click on public access yes, and I'll create a new security group. Remember, the Postgre port number is different than the MySQL. The database port number for PostgreSQL is 5432. Create a new VPC security group here, and I'll call this as RDS Postgres SG. All right. Okay. And availability zone, I don't want to select anything there. I leave it as the default with no preference. I'll go with the password authentication method. And as for the additional configuration, I have to give the database name. So I'll call this as database 1. All right. Parameter group and option group. As usual here, I'll disable the automated backups. I will disable performance insights, and monitoring PostgreSQL log and upgrade log, I'll leave it as it is. Maintenance, I will allow AWS to do auto minor version upgrades. Maintenance window, I'm not going to do anything. I'll leave it as it is with no preference. And since this is a free tier, we are not going to be charged for this. And let me hit on create database. Remember, if you're going to be using the production tier or the dev test tier, it is going to allow you only to select instances with larger system resources. All right. So in that case, you need to be very careful about that. So please make a note of this. Please be mindful about it. And yes, the instance is started already. It's already in the process of creating now. So let's pause the video for the creation to get completed. And yes. All right, so we see that the database 1, which is a PostgreSQL here, has been successfully created. So click on view connection details and make a copy of all this information, such as the master name, master username, master password, and the endpoint. All right, so make a note of all this. So database 1, Postgres, test 1, 2, 3, 4, and the endpoint, I'll copy it from the endpoint only. So I'll click on close here, Let me click on database 1, and I should be getting the endpoint and port number here. So I'll go and copy the endpoint. Let me open back the SQL Electron, and let me click on add, and I'll call this as AWS Postgres SQL, and I'll select the database type here. Postgres SQL server address is going to be the endpoint information, and you see the port number is already 5432 here. Yeah, and the user is Postgres, and the password is test1234. Right, all looks good. Let's test it now. And the connection test was successful. Let me save this and let me connect to it now. All right, we see that the Postgres is successfully connected, and I can access that. All right, so you can see some of the information schema which is already available for the Postgres, and that's how you go ahead and create a Postgres SQL on the AWS platform. And thank you very much for watching this session, and I'll see you in the next session.